teacher has made an announcement that we're going to read out loud, hopping around the classroom from one to another. You're nervous, quite frankly, trying to wrap your head around the implications of this fact. You wonder when it will be your turn and what section you'll have to read. You see the teacher starting at the front right corner of the classroom. You count 8 chairs back if she goes in order. You look at your textbook, counting 8 paragraphs in, trying to read it to yourself in advance before you have to read it out loud to the class. They're only a few seats away from you now, and you realize you have no clue where in the book we're reading from. You scan the pages trying to find similarities to what's being said, but it feels hopeless. Until they flip the page, as if to tell you explicitly, we're starting from the top. You catch on just in time to read the paragraph you practiced. You slip up a few times, but nothing serious. You feel relieved as you go through class understanding nothing of what was read. You go into a gas station looking for rolling papers. You stand in front of the register, scanning the back wall, looking for a rectangular shape with some amount of blue in the design. Before you can find it, the clerk asks what you're looking for. You tell them. They pinpoint the item on the infinite wall of products and say, "These?" You look at their hand and say yes before you're sure. You lift up your card to pay as they point downward in your direction. Your eyes lock to a square device with a lit screen. Unable to make out anything recognizable, you search around the device, trying to find where you should insert your card. The clerk yells no and points in a downward motion in your direction again. You look below the screen to find another screen next to a box of lighters. You laugh nervously, but the clerk is not amused. You're in deep conversation. You're following along with the utmost attention, completely present in the moment, until they reference something. You turn to look inside your mind, leaving no stone unturned, desperately trying to find an image that would make sense of this reference. You give up, pull out your phone and ask, "How do you spell that?" They zip through the spelling as if it was their own name. You write down the first letter of the word, the only thing you could make out from the champion spelling bee. You look inward again, sounding out the word, but your brain pulls up nothing. You look blankly at the Google search with one letter of a word in it. The linchpin to our conversation, a complete mystery. You glance up and find the conversation has moved on without you. You put your phone down and try not to look lost. They hand you a sheet of paper at the counter and say, "Fill it out." You take the clipboard with the pen and turn around to find a seat. You would like to find one that might be conducive to the journey ahead, but you're willing to settle for anything. You begin to scan the page, trying to get a general feel for its landscape. You start from the top, filling in as much as you can comprehend. You take a break, look around the room, and begin again from the bottom. You become stuck. 4 empty spots, 4 lingering questions. 4 possible miscommunications. You read the description tirelessly. You consider sending a picture of the form to your mom. You also debate going to the clerk and asking for help, both of which you've done before. This time, you're tired, unable to put forth the energy. You make your best guess and resign the clipboard to its final destination. Unsure if you lied when you signed the form saying the information you provided was true. You finally made it to the grocery store, a place you tend to avoid. You prepare yourself for the visual stress as you make your way in from the parking lot. It's cold and the brisk wind feels good hitting your cheeks. You enter and never leave again. Just kidding, but this is the 3rd time down this aisle. You've been here before, but in the endless labels and packaging, you must have missed what you were looking for. You make it to the end of the aisle, still unable to find it. You look up to read the sign, but it doesn't compute. You go down the next aisle, and the next aisle, and you leave without it. You're about to leave the house to pick up something last minute. You decide to go to a store close by that you haven't been to before. Someone then proceeds to give you verbal directions. You say not to worry, you'll look it up on your GPS. But they insist, so you hear them out, repeating every direction back to them step by step. You leave the house and plug the address into your GPS. Upon returning, they ask, "How'd it go?" You respond, "Spot on." Next time you leave, they ask, "You remember how to get there?" You say yes, as you plug the address into your GPS. You provide your ID at the polling location. They ask for your signature as they point to a binder filled with signatures. You sign as close to their finger as possible, making sure it's where it needs to go. They hand you a folder with a ballot inside. You sit down at the first booth and open the folder as if it held secrets. You do your best to reason with the layout, having prepared diligently for this moment. You turn the ballot over and find a section of amendments. The wording is so unclear, you wonder if it's deliberate. Yes, I don't want it, or no, I don't want it. You wonder why they don't provide an example, maybe how this amendment can be used in a sentence. You submit the ballot, unsure. Your friend asks you to dinner. They suggest a restaurant you've never been to before. As you sit down at your table, they hand you a menu and list off a few specials they have memorized. After the server leaves, you begin to search the menu. It takes you 5 minutes to realize you're on the drink list. You look up at your friend and see them studying the menu diligently. You look down at your menu to appear as if you're doing the same. You wait a little while and ask, "What are you getting?" They say 2 options. You pick the one they don't choose and call it a day, returning the menu to the server, never having read it. You've been in the same studio for over a year. You park in the same lot, walk up the same walkway, and down the same hallway. When you arrive, you put the half a dozen things in your hands on the ground and proceed to pull out your keys from your pocket. You're focused, looking with intent detail at the ridges on the key, certain you're going to get it right this time. You turn the key left to unlock it and lean into the handle of the door with the weight of your body. You stopped abruptly. It's still locked.